And what's your car payments?
For the Rebel, it's $11.59 a month. The Audi's $901, and the Corvette Z06 is $17.53 a month.
$399
For how long?
for life.
For life. You see that? For the Ford F-150.
Okay, so even with the year winding down, 2024 coming to an end, we are still seeing ridiculous car payments and listings and prices, and doesn't really seem to be slowing down, unfortunately, even with the somewhat cooling of the market with some vehicles. So we have a ton of stuff to go over today, some clips, some of your previous high car payments that were actually sent to me, along with your comments from previous videos. So if you want to be featured on a future video, leave it in the comments down below. But of course, we have to start off with the classic ridiculously high car payments.
I have a 2021 Ram Rebel, a 2017 Audi S6, and a 2017 Corvette Z06.
And what's your car payments?
For the Rebel, it's $11.59 a month. The Audi's $901, and the Corvette Z06 is $17.53 a month.
Yo, Darren, what car do you drive?
I drive a 2019 Audi e-tron, and my payment is $780 a month.
I've got three. I have my 2023 S5, I've got a 2010 S4, and then I've got the 2007 Corvette.
And what are your car payments?
$850 on the S5, $650 on the Vet, and $450 on the
Yo,
S4.
Norman, what car do you drive?
This is my car, 22 Porsche Taycan,
And what's your car payment?
$1367.
Yo, Mike, what car do you drive?
Drive a 2020 Audi Q7 Prestige Black Optic.
And what's your car payment?
It's about $850.
Yo, Gurram, what car do you drive?
I drive a Lexus ES350,
And what's your car payment?
$700 a month.
Yo, VJ, what car do you drive?
An EQS 450,
And what's your payment?
heavily $1,600.
Yesterday, what car do you drive?
I drive a 2022 Mercedes-Benz E450 Coupe.
And what's your payment?
It's about $1,275.
I think that rivals the worst batch of car payment clips that I've ever seen on this channel. Real quick before we get into the clip, we could talk about one of the comments from you guys because I think it adds on to it. Looking at all these car dealership employees being able to afford these car payments should tell you how much they're ripping people off, which I could definitely see that has some merit, but the reply to that, just because they can make the payments doesn't mean they can afford it. Because just the way some of these people spoke, you knew that they were just trying to flex. The guy with like the Audi Q5, Black Prestige, whatever it was called, it was literally just a murdered out Q5. Or sorry, it was a Q7, actually the uglier version. At least the Q5, in my opinion, looks a little bit nicer. And it was a 2020. The depreciation is already pretty rough. I mean, the same, let's just say interesting looking guy with the Porsche. It's not even a 911, it's the EV. But clearly a lot of these people with crazy high car payments for their nice vehicles, it's just a way to flex, show off to other people. And I mean, you could take this either way. Either the car dealership employees are making unbelievable amounts of money ripping you off, making you have high car payments and they get a kickback, or they fell for the same marketing that everybody does from all of these manufacturers. You feel like you're super rich, high upper class if you're driving around in a Mercedes or any of the luxury vehicles or very expensive pickup trucks, and they could barely afford to make the payments as well. To piggyback off of talking about pickup trucks, we have a clip here that I guarantee all of us have seen one or two of these people in our lifetime.
I drive a 2004 1500 Chevy. What's the matter, you broke? Can't afford a real man's rig like a Duramax? Something diesel that goes shh. Got a little half ton, little broke boy rig. Well, it's all paid off and I have no payment, so I feel like that's worth its weight in gold. Do you have your truck paid for, all cash, or? I knew you'd ask that. My payment's $1,100. I can afford the payment though. $1,100 a month? You must do pretty well to afford the payment. It's kind of a steep payment, isn't it, for a rig? You must not have put much down. Rig's $80K, all right? And yeah, put $5K down, but I can afford it. And if you're asking what I make a month, I make $3,800 a month. I got plenty in the bank, bud. And I ain't gonna be pulling up to some girl's house, picking her up in a half-ton Chevy. That's for sure. I'm gonna be pulling up. This all sounds like a horrible financial decision. Like you should try to work your way out of that. You should shut the heck up and get yourself a Duramax.
I would say that the pickup truck niche is probably as good at marketing to their customers compared to like the muscle cars, sports cars, because as crazy as it sounds, $80,000 for a rig is actually kind of cheap comparing to what we're going to see later in this video. But how many people have giant, massive pickup trucks that barely end up doing anything with it? I know that there's a study out that most people don't even use the truck beds on their pickup trucks, and overall I do understand. I know for the utility and how large these trucks have become, you could basically drive around your entire family, have a whole bunch of stuff in the pickup bed, and be towing something all at the same time. I know the amount that you can do with a pickup truck does make it enticing, and I understand why people get it. However, when you're paying $1,000+ a month for a truck that you can't really afford, it probably ends up being not the best financial decision. Some of the comments from this video are pretty funny too. Soft hands, brother. I sleep in my Duramax on the job site because I can't afford rent. $1,100 per month, finance for 84 months. And the term length is something we'll get to in a second before one of the comments from you guys. Most of my neighbors have these giant $80,000 to $100,000 trucks parked in their driveway, paying $1,000+ a month on top of their mortgage payment. The trucks sit there 90% of the time. They don't go anywhere, they don't haul anything, and they don't need it for work or practical reasons. But boy, does it make them look cool. And the manufacturers 100% know and market to guys and just up the price every single year. If you look at high-end trims from pickup trucks 20, 30 years ago, none of them are around 100,000 or even over if you're starting to see like the Raptor Rs or the TRXs. But you legitimately get people like the previous clip who will put almost all of their money into their pickup truck and barely be able to afford life after. Another comment from you guys: what's scarier to me than the average loan price being around $700 is the average loan term is nearly 70 months. So that's the argument that I see all the time with these high car payment videos. Apparently everybody who's got $1,000+ a month is paying it off in 1, 2, or 3 years. That's why there's high payments, and that's just clearly not the case for most people. I looked it up. The average length of a car loan in 2024 is 68.5 months for new cars and 67 months for used cars. It doesn't even get better with used. Most common length for new cars is 72 months now, and the average car payment in 2024 for a new car is $734 and used is $525. So now I think it's a good time to show you one of your guys' high car payments that was sent to me, and unfortunately this is a lot more common than you think when you start seeing these trucks, big SUVs, cars on the road. But we could read some of the email real quick. The dumbest decision I have ever made. Gladly, I finally got rid of this vehicle this past weekend. Took me a good 6 months to convince my wife we didn't need this to haul around a kid while we were spending over $500 in gas a month on top of this payment I'm about to show you. So here we could take a look. This was a brand new 2023 Ford Expedition that initially the purchase price was $90,000 for a Ford Expedition. I know that they're big and they're fancier now, but it's not a Lincoln Navigator. We could just run through some extra fees: $5,000 for taxes, charges for accessories and installation, another $1,700. They had a down payment of $5,000, which turns the unpaid balance to $85,000. Here we have a whole bunch more fees. I mean, the registration, another tax hit, a gap waiver, $950, maintenance plan, another $950, documentary preparation charge, $450. What does that even mean? Tire and wheel protection, another $1,400, service contract, $4,000, total an extra $8,000. So that amount finance goes back up to $93,000 after the $5,000 down payment. So that just disappears. Finance charge, $28,000. So this 2023 Ford Expedition cost $121,000 and at an APR of 9%. Total $121,268, and the amount per payment, how much they're paying per month, $1,684 for 72 months. $1,700 for 72 months for a Ford, man. Oh, how many of them have you seen driving around the road? Escalade, Tahoe, Suburban, Expedition, Navigator. I know that I'm missing more. Yukon. There's probably more that I'm forgetting. I'm glad that he got rid of it because, oh man, this is absolutely insane to me. We have another comment from one of you guys. You'll own nothing and be happy. Most people are already there. They don't pay off cars or houses. They just go loan to loan. And now you've probably seen this before with the car payments. It's like an entire Instagram account and YouTube channel I've seen that I thought it was satire, but there's so many videos that I don't know if this is legitimately happening, because if it is, again, I'm just honestly speechless. It's unbelievable, either crazy high car payments or for literally hundreds of months, which just sounds ridiculous. I have it up on screen. 0 down, $399 a month for life for this F-150. And it just sounds like it's a joke, like it's a skit making fun of like the first clip that we saw in this video of people having crazy high car payments. But there's just video after video of these same clips with different people in different vehicles. A Mercedes C300, which I mean is fine, but nothing really that special. $580 a month for 287 months. Now, I hope that I'm just completely wrong and I just didn't get the satire and this guy's just playing the bit and it found a whole bunch of different people for their clips to make these videos, but there are tons and tons of clips like this. Some of the comments, they got a $49,000 car for $166,000. Mad. $580 a month for 24 years is absolutely diabolical. I doubt that the car would even last 24 years. Now, I know that payday loans skirt around the laws of like what credit card companies and bank loans, like they have a certain percentage of interest, like the max that they could charge, and somehow payday loans could get around it. It kind of seems like this person's doing the same thing. Again, I hope I'm just completely wrong about this and I didn't get that it was a joke and this isn't really happening, but we'll see some pretty rough decisions from other people and a little bit later in this video as well. So it's not really that far out of the realm of possibilities, unfortunately. Another comment from you guys, the rates are ridiculous. I had to buy a new car when my old one had a trans go bad. Wound up buying a car out the door for $37,000, put $4,000 down, and after all the extended warranties I bought and gap insurance like we saw with the $120,000 Expedition, finance amount was $42,000. So the payment is $741 a month for 6 years. And they have an 800 plus credit score. So you're really in the best possible position, and $700 is just crazy to me, even though in comparison to what we've seen just in this video alone, that almost seems like nothing, but it's just too much for me.
The car market crash is not happening, and it's because of you. These are all bank repos being checked in, about to be sold at auction. Wide body scat back 392 repo. Range Rovers, Kias, Mitsubishis, big trucks, Mercedes, all these repos. BMWs, brand new Ford trucks. The reason why it's not happening is because consumers and people are still signing 25, 28, 30% loans till this day. And even though I put out many videos and other content creators put out videos and help telling people and explain, stop getting in situations where you have so much negative equity, stop getting situations where you are signing for a high payment auto loan, high interest auto loan, people are still doing it. 2020 BMW X6 sitting here ready to go to the auction.
So this is a creator we've seen a couple times on this channel. He has a whole dedicated YouTube channel of him helping out people with car loans, and hopefully that's what I've done. I know in the comments I've seen at least a few people were talking about watching my videos, realizing how ridiculous it was, and them selling back a vehicle and getting a reasonable car payment. Because even with the talks over the past few months that cars are finally starting to pile up, people aren't paying $100,000 for a $70,000 Ram pickup truck anymore. It doesn't mean that this still isn't happening. Clearly seeing all the repos and very expensive luxury cars or the very big pickup trucks, the high dollar vehicles are still getting repoed. So hopefully making these videos could save somebody who's watching from losing thousands, 10,000s, even in the 6 figures worth of depreciation and negative equity in their current cars. Because like I say in every video, if you could afford these $2,000, $3,000 car payments and supercars and whatever, and you're super rich, then this video isn't for you. I don't care. Go buy whatever you want. But all of these repo videos and these high car payment videos are from normal everyday people, and it's only going to end up making your life worse. Some of the comments from this clip, it's ego. People are so pressed for outside validation. Then to be smart financially, it's insane. Now, I still do believe that this is primarily a men's issue. Guys always like the fast cars, luxury cars, the big trucks, and I mean, I do too. But having that validation from other guys when you pull up in a nice, big, brand new truck truck or some sort of sports car or supercar makes a lot of people buy vehicles they can't really afford. And especially with social media and everybody's got a Lamborghini now who's an influencer, you start trying to compete when you're 18, 19, 20, 25-year-old kid. Maybe you just start making a decent amount of money and you put all of it into a brand new M3. And before you know it, if anything goes wrong with your job or some sort of emergency, you can't afford the car payments anymore and you're upside down. I will say I do see some videos with women paying way more than they should for vehicles. Most of the time it ends up being luxury vehicles, not really the sports car, muscle car, big pickup truck type. One that I did see recently is somebody bought a Mazda, I believe it was a CX-90, which is a pretty decent vehicle, but with all the extra bells and whistles on it and special interior, exterior color, it ended up being $1,000 a month. So everybody was just roasting her in the comments. $1,000 a month for a Mazda, when overall it is a pretty decent brand to buy. I know the reliability is going up, and with the prices of both Honda and Toyotas going through the roof right now because people want reliable vehicles, Mazda has been taking some of the market share. But again, when you're paying 4 figures for it, it doesn't really seem like a great decision. We have another comment from you guys. I love new cars, but keeping an old car presentable without having the anxiety of watching a new car age is liberating, and that's why I'm completely fine driving around my almost 10-year-old Civic. Nothing fancy, nothing special. Honestly, it looks a little beat up because there's scratches. It's been around the block, but it's completely paid off, and I don't really have to care about it depreciating that much. I bought it for $10,500, and even if I run it into the ground and have hundreds of thousands of miles on it, whenever I do decide to get a new vehicle, somebody will still buy it for a few $1,000s. A lot better of a depreciation hit compared to some of these luxury vehicles we've seen. But we have another clip that adds on to another young person just getting into a really bad situation when they didn't really know it, and just getting one of the worst deals I've seen on a vehicle.
It was like really expensive, and like I didn't even think about it. It was just something that I needed.
What's your interest rate on the car right now?
It's like 23%, 25%.
25% interest rate, and then how much are you paying on the car?
How
old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 21. A little like around $3,000 a month.
So you make $3,000 a month, and see, but that's the thing, you're spending almost half of your income on this car, right? So
on my car, yeah.
Yeah, and do you pay any rent?
I do.
Okay, how much is your rent?
$1,275.
Oh wow.
Like
okay.
I wouldn't, if I would have seen your videos, I wouldn't have bought the car. I needed something quick and fast.
Got you. Okay. Look, I'm gonna try to give you as much advice as I can. What year Camaro is this?
2015.
2015 Camaro. How many miles?
140.
How many money down to make the deal happen?
At least $1,000.
So you have $1,000 down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's the VIN number to the Camaro? 5 owners, 0 accidents, $5 to $6 grand. So you're about $12,000 to $13,000 in negative equity. You're not going to be able to get into a Kia K5 for $2,000 down.
I mean, now, of course, with hindsight and being a little bit older, the 140,000 mile Camaro is basically the end of its life or around it. $1,300 a month too, and then being underwater over 5 figures. How much worse could it really get? And I'm the first to admit, I basically just got lucky. With that person being only 21 years old, I didn't go out and buy a stupid expensive car when I was younger. I'm very happy that I guess about 5 years ago now, I did end up buying my Civic, and I didn't get a 3 Series or something dumb like that where my car payments would have been higher or the depreciation would have been worse, and probably both. But getting out of high school, going into college, any of that 18, 21, 22, everybody just sits on their phone all day, and it looks like everybody has some sort of luxury vehicle. So you want to keep up with the Joneses. You want to get a nice muscle car like a Camaro and just basically get destroyed on the car payments. That one is bad. We have another comment from one of you guys. My daughter's friend just bought a used Mercedes G5, which I'm guessing is the G550, for $128,000. Her payment is $23.50 a month for 7 years, and she's already freaking out. I wonder why. Who would do that, man? And I honestly do like G-Wagons. I know it is a very basic looking car. I like boxy cars. It's just my thing. But if I was ever to get a G-Wagon one day, it would be in straight cash. So That's a long way down the road if that ever does happen, because $2,350 a month does not seem fun to me. Her husband was adamant to buy her this vehicle for some reason because it is a huge status symbol, and he just bought himself a brand new diesel Ram pickup for another $86,000 8 months ago. So what would that be, around $3,500 a month in car payments for those two vehicles? Absolutely ridiculous. We can switch gears and look at a little bit of the car market, because even with potentially popular cars, at least right now, like the Toyota brand is, we could start seeing some of these vehicles start piling up.
Man, I kind of predicted this. I'm not a fortune teller. I wish I was. What I can tell you is, look at all these. I kind of knew this was going to happen. All of these Land Cruisers on the lot. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 6 just right here. And yeah, these things, let's see if we got any discounts. But I kind of knew this was going to happen just because how many Tacomas we got. I wasn't sure how exclusive or, you know, how many of these trucks we were going to get or they were going to get. But it's a lot of them on the lot. And now we're starting to see some discounts. So this is a $2,000 discount. And it's a 1958 edition. 4-wheel drive, 4x4, 4-wheel drive. So yeah, $2,000 off of these things because they're stacking up. And this is going to be fully loaded. And it's going to be for $71,000. I'll just be out here talking to people like I work here. I got to stop that. But $71,000.
$71,000 for a Toyota. I know it's a Land Cruiser. I like the way they look as well. I know it's very popular, not popular enough for them to be flying off the shelves. They're starting to stack up because of how expensive it is. And I mean, on top of it, if you were going to start paying that money, I think one of the comments hits it right on the head. People with $58,000, which we saw 71 right there for that Land Cruiser, have $80,000 for the GX 550. And that's basically the Toyota Land Cruiser version for Lexus. It's nicer, honestly. And when you're already spending $71,000, why wouldn't you just spend $80,000 for the Lexus? And I bet that's what people are doing, and that's why that car will just sit there forever. I'll buy them when they're $30,000. Now, I don't know if it would actually go that low. It would take quite a long time because even with the ridiculous prices, Toyota is one of the best-selling vehicles along with Honda and Lexus right now, even in this kind of tough market. But base model for $60,000 is absurd because this is an off-road vehicle. So the base model would be bought by somebody who would put a ton of work into it and actually off-road it. But having to pay $60,000 day one, it's just not going to happen. Toyota prices are getting out of hand. You're not Lexus, relax. But again, Toyota knows what they're doing. Even with their reliability issues right now, all other manufacturers are basically having a worse time other than like Honda, Acura, and like Mazda right now. All American car companies' reliability is in the toilet. So they're one of the best deals for an economy vehicle right now. Because of that, they could start upping the prices. Another comment from one of you guys, I'm a mortgage loan officer. It hurts my soul when people come to me to get a house and I have to tell them that when they purchase 2 autos with a combined $2,000 monthly payment, that they made a decision to live inside their cars instead of having a house. So those comments and the clips that we've seen where they had a couple vehicles and it was $2,000 and $3,000 a month, hopefully they already own the house that they're in or their rent is super cheap, because it's going to take a ton of income to be able to get a loan on top of the crazy auto loans they have. Here we could take a look at Chevy and the American dealerships.
Over $96,000 for this 2024 Escalade. Man, that's a lot of money for a fancy Tahoe. Here's the Equinox EV, one of the worst purchases on the lot. These things are literally $60,000 sometimes for an Equinox EV. It's insane, and the only way they can sell them is with huge discounts like $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 off on an Equinox. That's how bad they priced them. $49,000, $83,000 for this one. This is a used one, 2023 model. Man, that's a lot of money. And think about the average used interest rate, 12% on $83,000. Wow. An EV Silverado. Let's see. This thing is going to be big money, I imagine. A whole lot of money, and it'll never, ever sell. $97,000. Can you believe that for a 2024 Silverado EV? And how long will this last before you have to, you got to get rid of it. You have to exchange the battery. Like, there's things you have to do, but obviously most people probably won't keep it that long anyways. But still, we're going to check out this high country before we get out of here. This is a 2500 or a 3500 single wheel. Let's see what we got here. This is a work truck until they put this price tag on it. Let's see, $91,000. Oh my gee. And it's a 2500. That is insane, man.
I honestly don't know what Chevy was thinking with the Silverado EV. They know that the F-150 Lightning is not doing well right now, and that was stupid expensive. So they basically copied and pasted and did the same thing, and it doesn't even look nice. I would much rather take the High Country next to it that was already almost $100,000 compared to the EV. It doesn't even look good. It looks odd to me. At least that's my opinion, but either way, I'm not going out and spending $90,000+ on a pickup truck anytime soon. Just absolutely insane prices we're still seeing, but let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. That's all I got for you guys today. YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on screen right now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later.